Hello everyone and welcome to the final game ball and top performers announcement. Keep in mind that many of the players that you saw on these lists throughout the season will be names to watch for when we announce our finalists for Player of the Year in each division after the season. All of those winners will earn some hardware too, some nice plaques to recognize their years. As for our weekly winners, well, you know what they get. And this week, one of these game balls going over to West Fargo Sheyenne for a special duo that helped put up historic numbers in a big win to close out the regular season and consequently lock up a top 2 seed for the Mustangs in the postseason. Kaden Olson and Caleb Duerr, you've got Game Ball sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance coming your way. More on their monster game coming up in a bit. First, let's get to our top performers. Some of these players shining in the regular season finale, others helping their team score a first-round victory in the playoffs at the Class A and 9-man levels. Hank Bodine of Velva-D-A-G Garrison knows plenty about the postseason. He was part of that Aggies group that won it all last year and, well, hasn't lost since. Bodine rushed for around 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, guiding the Aggies to a first-round victory over Bowman County. With Ben Shep at quarterback and Bodine in the backfield, along with the rest of the playmakers out there, the Aggies look poised for a return to the Dakota Bowl. The number 4 seed in 9-man Westhope-N-G Glenburn was taken to the brink of elimination against Linton HMB Strasburg Zeeland, but Walker Broughton willed them to victory in a 48-42 playoff win. Broughton passed for 2 scores, rushed for 4 touchdowns. His biggest plays came in the final 40 seconds. Trailing 42-40, the stud junior threw the go-ahead touchdown to Trayton Getchell-Lessman, ran in the 2-point conversion, and then knocked down the last-second Hail Mary from the Lions. Now it'll be Broughton against senior standout Javin Freeze and Grant County Flasher in the quarterfinals. That's going to be one heck of a battle. Oaks scored a road playoff win over Carrington behind the arm of Blason Dolney, who passed for 4 touchdowns. He also intercepted a pass on defense to help knock off the Cardinals 27-21. The victory helps the Tornadoes set up a region rematch with Kindred. Former game ball winner Berkeley France shined in his playoff debut, leading South Border to an impressive 56-0 win over Mulhall Lansford Sherwood. The sensational sophomore completed 2 of his 3 passes, both went for touchdowns. He then rushed 5 times and turned that into a ridiculous 216 yards and 3 scores. That's a ho-hum 43 yards per carry, by the way. The Mustangs get Hettinger County next, a team they handled pretty well in the regular season. From one sophomore to another, LaMoure-Litchville-Marion superstar Gunnar Thiel just put on quite the night's work. He rushed for 410 yards on 30 carries, scoring 7 touchdowns. Just imagine running the full length of the football field 4 times while getting hit about 20 times. Thiel just, of course, doesn't get hit too often because he's busy scoring touchdowns. This week will be tougher, though, going up against undefeated New Rockford Cheyenne. Storyline on the side, former NDSU teammates Andy Delabar and Elliot Belquist will be coaching against one another in that one. Well, it was the upset of the day on Saturday. Nelson County went to winner and stunned top-ranked Sargent County. They did it behind a big day from senior running back Zach Gibson, who reached the end zone 4 times in the victory, 3 on the ground, and 1 as a receiver. That helped lift the Chargers to a 30-29 win. Gibson just didn't want his high school career to end. Impressive performance, and he'll try to replicate that at North Prairie on Saturday. Speaking of North Prairie, Blake Matson had another monster day on the football field behind that dominant offensive line. Matson rushed for another ho-hum 300, 400 yards, I don't know what it is. 6 touchdowns in the win over Wyoming-Lidgewood. Those Cougars are humming along again. I won't be surprised to see them rumble their way to the Fargo Dome. Shanley's Landon Meyer, well, he's just trying to run away with the Player of the Year award in Class 3A right now. Everyone else's best game, just another day at the office for him. He passes for over 300 yards again, 5 touchdowns, along with a rushing score in the win over St. Mary's. The score looks a little deceiving. Meyer helped the Deacons build a 40-0 lead before being pulled in the second quarter. It was absolute dominance by Shanley again. We'll have Meyer and that Shanley offense on Midco Sports 2 this Friday as they host West Fargo in the quarterfinal round. All right, get out your Powerball tickets. Here we go. 61, 33, 51, 7, 18, and 87. Okay, those aren't the Powerball numbers, you got me. They're the distances of Javin Freeze's 6 rushing touchdowns. The senior QB for Grant County Flasher could not be stopped in the playoff win over Central McLean. He also added 73 yards passing and an interception on defense. Like I said, Freeze versus Walker Broughton of Westhope-N-G is going to be a dynamite game within the game on Saturday. Freeze again, close to about 400 yards rushing in that one. Jack Simmers has a game ball on his resume already this year, and he just keeps chugging along. The Knights' Swiss Army knife player had his fingerprints all over the 30-28 win over Devils Lake. Simmers rushed for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also racked up 85 passing yards and a score. Then he delivered a pick 6 on defense to go with a blocked extra point on special teams. Boy, Simmers should be a first-team All-State pick when the season wraps. Back to the game ball honors for the week. Well, at the beginning of the season, Caleb Duerr was the returning starter at quarterback for Cheyenne. He was coming off a strong junior year. He got dinged up, and junior Kaden Olson stepped in, and well, he played really well. That thrust Olson into the starting spot, and Duerr transitioned to receiver. And boy, has he been a good one. They've developed more and more chemistry week after week, and on Thursday out in Mandan, they put it all together and then some. I wouldn't even call these video game numbers because it'd be hard to get them on a video game. Olson completed 24 of 28 passes for 475 yards and 8 touchdowns. He also rushed for 41 yards and 2 more scores. That's 10 touchdowns, 1 for each finger in the 70-49 victory over the Braves. Obviously, the yards and touchdowns were school records. Duerr joins him in the record books with 246 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns on 9 catches. What a tandem they were on Thursday night. The hardware is heading to the Cheyenne Mustangs. That's a wrap for the game balls this season. We still have some hardware to hand out with our Player of the Year awards at the end of the postseason. But until then, enjoy the journey. We'll have the quarterfinal between West Fargo and top-ranked Shanley on our air Friday night at 6 o'clock on Midco Sports 2 and Midco Sports Plus. And of course, we'll see you at 10:30 for Varsity Sports Live that night. Thanks for watching, everyone.